Why do you ask? Go this route. Yeah. All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for coming to the May 2024 REMSCO council meeting. And we'll start the meeting.
Jesus to the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for all of our departed members, as well as our military service members and all of our fire, police, and EMS providers. Thank you. Please be seated. So move on to investigations and disciplinary actions. Since our last meeting in March, we have a number of them. First being Nicole McKenzie, EMT number 441429, for violations of Article 10, New York Code of Regulations 800.16, A1, A2, A3, A9, A11, and 800.15B1, which is suspended for 3 years effective 3/4 of 24. Suspension is stayed pending successful completion of a 3-year probation. Was assessed a civil penalty of $12,000. $10,000 of that was stayed pending the successful completion of their probation. Van Heemsted Obelt, Amanda, EMT number 474737, for violation of Article 10, New York Code of Regulations, Part 800.16, A10, has been suspended for 1 year effective 3/11/24. That suspension has been stayed, has been placed on 3 years probation, effective the same date, 3/11/2024. Assessed a civil penalty of $1,000, $500 has been suspended pending probation. Jeffrey Ashdown, EMT number 346727, violations of Article 10, Part 800.15 A2, has surrendered certificate effective 3/7/24, posted on 3/11/24. Brian Giddens, EMT number 419796, violation of Article 10, New York Code of Regulations, Part 800.16, Section A, 1, 2, and 3, suspended for 1 year, effective 3/18, and assessed a penalty, civil penalty of $2,000, and has been posted on 3/19/24. Arnaldo Teliz Jr., EMT number 477062, for violation of Article 10, Part 800.16, A1-3, revoked effective 3/18/24. Also assessed a civil penalty of $5,000 on 3/19/2024. And last, Nicholas Messina, EMT number 506358, for violation of Article 10, New York Code of Regulations 800.16, Section A, 7, and 13, surrendered certificates effective 4/15/24, and that has been posted as of 4/25/24. Those are your disciplinary actions and suspensions and revocations. As far as communications, once again, we received an email regarding Dr. Booten's resignation from NUMC. Dr. Berrios has been appointed to medical control oversight of Nassau University Medical Control. That was received on March 8th. REMSCO REMAC regarding meeting locations for April and May being approved at the Public Safety Center. REMSCO Program Agency regarding upgrading of Facebook and social media pages for public information awareness. Once again, we have reestablished our social media page for Facebook. And once again, it's up and running at the present time. We received the invoice for our website from Rescue Brain, which has been forwarded to the treasurer and has since been paid. So we are current on the website with that quarterly payment. The regional EMS nominating forms were received from Mark Vitale, the recognition of Kristen Keating for RN of the Year. It's going to forward to the REMSCO office, and once again, we forwarded to the awards committee. Outgoing, once again, emails, finalization documentation of the requested transfers for Hicksville and Wanto Fire Department for their transfer of authority from the fire department to the fire districts. Email was sent out to Chairman Frank DeBovis of the Legislative Committee for evaluation of the REMSCO bylaws and policies, which he's currently getting the committee together to review over the next several months to be able to bring it back for our September meeting with that. And the request for an updated copy of the EMS 911 matrix for the REMSCO office that had been outdated, and I believe since moved forward. Also sent out emails to Viacom, and once again, we've been received information that Mark Bodner, our previous council representative, has retired, and the Fire Commission has recommended Neil Velasco as the incoming representative on the council. We'll welcome him later. And that is it on communications. All right, so on to my report. We had an executive meeting on some of the issues and stuff just previous to this. Some of it may come up that once again is of vital importance to us. The 2024 REMSCO as well as the state EMS awards. The window has closed as of April 15th. We have the awards and stuff in. They will be forwarded this week to the EMS Awards Committee for once again being able to be processed, and then once again we will notify the recipients upon that. We'll also bring up today looking for a discussion for a future date for the EMS award ceremony, as well as funding necessary in order to complete that project. Disaster preparedness and MCI continues to meet pretty much on a weekly basis as we continue to work through communications as well as training. And we will be having some additional information under the training committee, or I'm sorry, under the training as well as disaster preparedness regarding that in committee reports. The 2024 New York State Collaborative BLS and ALS protocols will take effect as of July 1st, 2024. Current protocol changes have been sent out with that. And once again, each agency and member provider should be aware of these changes and should be reviewing the much needed protocol changes that are in that. As most of you know, the New York State executive budget has been passed by the governor. A lot of the recommendations that were in there involving Part D, which involved DMS, was dropped out at the last minute from the budget for regulatory reform, and is now currently in legislative form being passed through. That includes essential services, community paramedicine, emergency medical dispatch. It is currently being handled by the Assembly as well as the senators to once again bring it up through legislative voting process with that. As was stated at the last meeting, the EMS Coordinated Response Committee report is out. It's been placed up on the website for those that want to view. If you have any questions or once again concerns, bring it to us. They're scheduling some meetings sometime later on in June after the cricket tournament is completed to go over the recommendations with the various administrations and organizations that sat on the committee. So once again, look at the recommendations and how they can be implemented within there. New York State EPCR platform upgrade will commence on July 1st, 2024. We'll go from NEPSIS 3.5 to replace 3.4. All agencies should be aware of the change and should be in contact with their vendor to make sure that they're able to once again meet the deadline for that. Image Trend Elite, as we said in the past, all agency managers are responsible for their providers' documentation on their EPCRs. As you know, right now, all of the rules have been turned off up until July 1st. So anything that's sent in currently, once again, will pass through to the state and on to the federal government. Once 3.5 begins, the rules will go back on, the abbreviated rules that have been set forth in 3.5, and it'll be the responsibility of all agency managers, leadership, as well as the coordinators to make sure that those submissions are going through properly and that quality assurance is being done with that. The next New York State REMSCO and CMAQ meeting will be held next week on May 7th and 8th. They will be live streamed out. Be some information coming out. I suggest that everybody, if you can't make it in person, once again, you should live stream on that. A lot of interesting information on that. The New York State EMS Memorial has been postponed until the fall due to supply and demand issues. And once again, being able to complete the memorial in a timely fashion before EMS week. So stay tuned. They will let us know when it will be rescheduled with that. Along the same lines, I've been in consult with the Fire Commission leadership and also with an architect to discuss the designing of a first responder EMS memorial, which may be in conjunction also with the fire service in Eisenhower Park. We're looking to set a meeting up in either late May or in June after the cricket tournament is over to develop a design and to be able to look at the funding necessary and set up a committee to do that. As you said before, the EMTCC will be sunsetting as of July 1st, 2027. More to come on that education. Frank DeBovis has once again graciously accepted to chair the Legal and Governmental Committee to replace Dr. Putin, who was previously the chairperson. And he will be reviewing, along with the committee, the bylaws and policies of the council for the September meeting, as well as any legislative policies along with that. Today, we also have a TOB request for BLS First Response Agency Certificate. I will ask that under new business we're discussing, they are once again moving from the Parks Department to Public Safety in order to establish a EMS and EMT system to service their parks as well as their beaches for the summer. A majority of the information has already been supplied to us. We have the application stuff here. But once again, I would ask for a provisional acceptance by the council to be brought up at the June meeting so that they can continue to move forward as it needs approval through their current supervisor, who needs to get it through the town board at a public meeting with that, which should be forthcoming in the next week or so. So that will come up as well. We'll also bring up the new updated policy manual, once again, that is currently in draft form. Once again, that needs to be enacted in the updated form, and we'll take a vote on that under the business as well. And last but not least, once again, I met last night with the Fire Commission. To date, once again, as far as the council representation regarding the cricket tournament, we have not had any meetings, updates, or any discussion regarding any of the EMS portion of the current plans involving that, whether it be inside the venue, outside the venue, or more importantly for us, the residents of Nassau County and the impact that it may play as far as resources, especially considering this is a multi-week occurrence, which we've never experienced before. So I brought that as a representative of the fire service last night, and from the council perspective as being the chair, that I think that we're very disappointed in the fact that we were not consulted in any shape, way, or form regarding how this will play out, especially with our volunteer services and stuff, and the amount of resources that may be necessary to undertake this for approximately 12 days. So more to come on that. We'll see how that plays out. And that's it for my report today. Any questions for me?
Is there anybody coordinating the cricket tournament from the EMS perspective?
From the best that I know is, once again, that EAB is taking care of the initial complex itself and the venue, which it will be being taken place. The fire service has requested additional resources through their through their communications through the fire service, and that's pretty much where we've been left off. Most of the communications that I've had has been through the council office, through the state, requesting request for resources or other things that might be needed, and how they can play a role and stuff in that. More to come, as I said, my first update was last time on that. Thank you. Any other questions? On to Vice Chairman's report, Dave Melvin. Secretary Treasurer report.
All right, we had total in the last 2 months income $147.94 in interest. We had two expenses. We had reimbursement to Don Hudson for the REMSCO meeting, $748.15. And for rescue rain, we had $2,721.60. In this balance, grand total in all three accounts under $1,952.90.
Okay, so we'll accept that report on the new business. We'll move on to the state EMS representative, EMS coordinator for Don Hudson.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy spring, God willing. So state meetings are next week. I'll have a report. Sorry, I don't know what that noise is. I'll have a report when I come back. You mentioned the budget. The word on the street is that everything EMS related was summarily pulled from the state budget. And now there are complementary assembly and Senate bills to do most, if not all of that work, just under somebody else's name. So stay tuned to that. As far as the pending regulation changes related to education, most commonly asked is when are we going to a 4-year certification? Those are done. They're through the executive approval process, which means they can be publicly released, which means they can be publicly voted on. That will occur at the next state meeting, and then they'll go into the state register and become state law. So stay tuned for more on that, but just to dispel any rumors, it's not automatic that you just get 4 years on your card. It'll be upon your next recertification, your card will go from a 3-year to a 4-year card. So that also means new CME hours and new CME processes that have not yet been released. once they're in regulation and they become law, then those will be released. So stay tuned as always. From just, I forget which hat it's under, but for the Hicksville and Wantagh transfers, both of those are not only done and approved, but both agencies are currently operating under their new name and their new agency number, including PCR and controlled substances and everything else. So thank you to the council. I know the process is not exactly quick or clean, but it does work. So I'll just leave it at that. And as always, any questions, happy to ask or answer or.
Any questions
Back
for
to
our
you.
EMS coordinator? So we'll move on to committee reports. The executive council met just prior to today's general meeting. A few things came up once again. Most importantly, we're going to start looking at improved quality quality initiatives for regional and system-wide response. We're going to look at the E-Bridge as well as looking at he was trying to lead and stuff to try and come up with some consensus and stuff. As you know, performance standards will be coming from the state. They were approved last year in last year's budget, and those will be forthcoming from the state. Requirements for data submission for the agencies and also to the REMSCO with that. So a discussion was handled on that as far as the executive council, how we're going to proceed to keep all the agencies up to date and once again up to speed on these changes that will be forthcoming in the near future. REMAC, Dr. Cheerson, Dr. Kugel.
Okay, thank you. All right, so REMAC had our meeting last month. And I'll just go over the new business that was approved. Dr. Barrios was not only made the medical director, but EAB's medical director, approved and voted on. The RSI committee, I don't want to touch on that, but there's a new medic approved by the county. Membership was discussed. There was a change in the membership. The committee voted based on attendance rules that are in our bylaws, that having missed more than 2 meetings without a request for an excuse, Dr. Booten was removed from the attendance rolls and Dr. Matthew from St. Joe's was put in. This was a unanimous vote. So Dr. Matthew is now a voting member of REMAC. There was a letter we received from Todd Haken, replacing Mary DeMola as the Nassau County Medical Center Administrator. And he asked to join REMAC as a non-voting member. He's a CC. And then one thing that was voted on and approved. First, I'll mention it here to everybody. This is the 50th anniversary of EMS Week this month. So I think it's important that you all look at each other in the mirror and look at yourselves in the mirror and say thank you and to your colleagues, because what we do here is often thankless and it's hard work, going through COVID and continuing to do the service that we provide, knowing that we put ourselves at risk. And I think you guys are all real heroes. So I'm just putting that out there. Thank you. But with the 50th anniversary of EMS Week comes the 40th anniversary of the pre-hospital pediatric emergency readiness program. There is a nationwide initiative for EMS agencies to fill out an online anonymous survey that will help your EMS agency figure out how ready it is to take care of children and infants. So if you see me after the meeting, I'll get you that website link. There was a motion at the REMAC that the REMAC should support this initiative, and so here we are presenting it to you. Lastly, the REMAC received a letter from Williston Park Fire Department requesting a medical director change, which will be brought up at the June REMAC meeting. That's all I have, sir.
Any questions for Dr. Kugler on the REMAC?
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to communications. Karen Brown.
Your report, they'll be, as like everything else, they will be reading and printing stuff.
Thank you very much. Disaster preparedness planning, MCI, Kevin O'Hara.
Okay, as I previously mentioned, we completed the plan. We kind of turned it over now to get the education process in making. We have been meeting regularly, and it was agreed upon that rather than roll it out in one lump 73-page document, we felt that the training would best, serve our volunteers and those EMS providers, break it up into small, big nets. We broke it down into 10-minute intervals. That's what we're in the process now of working on that. In the interim, we had a request from Great Neck Fire Department, and we kind of took it on as sort of our initial little phase to see how well it would be received, not so much the plan, but the way that we want to roll it out. And it was met with great success. We kind of gave a little broad overview of the plan and how we felt that we could get it rolled out to the entire participants in Nassau County. So with that, we're really focusing again on those 10-minute segments. And I'll let the training and education committee talk a little more on that. And also too, we have a meeting scheduled on June, I believe, 27th. Is that it?
June 27th.
June 27th, 7 o'clock with all of Nassau County providers. And what we want to do is sort of do what we did up in Great Neck, and kind of roll it out now to all the county and explain how we will be doing this training in the very near future. So with that, my report.
Any questions? Disaster preparedness. All right, we'll move on. Education and training. Edward Wolfen.
So just to go off of what Kevin was saying with the disaster preparedness, the committee's been talking about different types of formats to do these micro learnings for our volunteers out there and our paid people out there that are doing this, along with their leadership. Don and the FDA have been kind enough to actually create them, so they have taken the bulk of the work. So kudos to Don and Steve on that and the work that they're doing. Believe it or not, they're actually really, really good. A lot of work they need put into that. So thank you. Yeah, no.
Believe it or not, what is that? I can hear you.
So
He's in the room, you know. Thank you.
I think it might have lunch.
Believe it or not.
So thank you to those guys. It's really good. We've gone through a couple of different edits and stuff like that through on presentation style and stuff. So hopefully the general public likes it as much as we do. The other thing I'd like to just touch on, Chairman spoke about it, the CC to Medic Bridge Program. CC is set to sunset July of 2027. We just started the April 2024 cohort, and there are 62 students in the class, which is more than the last 3 cohorts combined. So the word is getting out. We have multiple agencies. Their entire agency of one state is in the program, and there's already applicants requesting to join the October cohort. So 2027 is not that far away. Please get the word out, keep it going, and the class will be run as necessary. All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Any questions for training and ed? Hold on. Legal and governmental, Francis DeBovis Senior.
Yeah, we'll be having a meeting. I just have to wait till after cricket to get a date and time. And everybody just prints out the bylaws, so we can start to review them and go over them, see if anything that you have to be cognizant of to correct or change. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you very much for taking that off. Move on to public education and regional awards. Frank Chancellor.
Just waiting to get the information from the regional office, and then we'll have a meeting and hash it out, get it up to the state.
So with that, once again, there is a committee listed under public education. Once again, we'll get the contacts and stuff out if anybody is interested in joining the meeting and stuff to assist with picking the awards. So we were fortunate last year. We had 2 state award winners. And once again, we had multiple award winners that did tremendous work and stuff during 2022. So we have some work to do. Feel free to let us know, and we'll get you onto the committee to assist with that. EMS Systems, Chris Airy, from EMS Systems. I know we've had nothing come up this month, actually the past 2 months, regarding, other than, once again, as I said, I would ask for a provisional endorsement of the Town of Oyster Bay request for a BLS first response as they finish the process of getting their town board to sign off on this. Like I said, they want to make sure that they're providing the best service for their town residents and also to protect their employees and stuff from liability and other issues with that. So that'll come up under new business as well. We'll move on to membership. Robin Trott.
Yeah, Division Supervisor Mark Bodnar, who was the fire firm representative, REMSCO, retired on April 18th. And this left a midterm vacancy in the fire council seat. According to our current REMSCO bylaws, a midterm vacancy needs to be filled by the appropriate constituency within a set time frame, and Viacom complied with this provision. Supervisor Neil Velasco has been appointed to fill this council seat, with Supervisor Joseph Coletta remaining as the alternate. Along with being a supervisor at Viacom, Neil is an active 24-year member and ex-captain of rescue at the Albertson Fire Company. He also is a life member of the Mineola Fire Ambulance Corps, where he was an ex-chief and a current commissioner. Our current bylaws, Article 3, Section 7, yes, I did do my homework, requires an election to membership shall be by a majority vote either at the annual meeting of the council or, in this case, with the vacancy, at this particular general meeting of the council. The appointment of Neil Velasco will take place later today at the general meeting. There'll be a motion to appoint her to the floor, and a majority vote of the council members present will take place. Also in our bylaws, it states that any member of the council or the member's alternate who, without justification acceptable to the council, has missed more than 1/2 of the regular meetings in any 12-month period, or has missed more than 3 consecutive meetings, will be asked to resign from the council to be acted on at the council's pleasure. That's how the bylaw states it. I'll review the attendance sheets for January and for March and for this meeting in May. And any of the council members who need to be contacted, I will. I have all of the attendance sheets. If you have any questions, I have them here. You can always take a look. Most important thing is to just make sure that you have an excused absence.
Good, thank you very much. So bring that up under new business. We'll move on to hospital emergency room, Dana Quarterpast.
So we can see them work together. It brings the meeting different people that so.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we'll move on to subcommittees. The Airway Committee, along with the BLS IGEL pilot program, Dr. Newberg.
Afternoon, everybody. At the REMAC, we changed the name, well, kind of incorporated everything into one committee because we were doing all of it. So RSI, IGEL, is now the Airway Committee, and then we're reviewing all the RSI stuff, all the IGEL stuff, and then QA/QI and coordination is added on the QA/QI, the Airway QA/QI. Since we had such a really good team and we have a lot of invested parties, it's a nice group that we just wanted to make sure we were utilizing it to its best potential. So that the last REMAC meeting. Currently on IGEL, we have 20 agencies in the county that are enrolled. We just did training with Uniondale over there. They just came on board. So Uniondale is our newest agency. We had a good training with them over the weekend. The most important thing for the agencies that are using it is just to coordinate with us for QA/QI purposes. When they went to the state, we found out we had not heard directly about a few uses at the county level, but when the state ran their data, they gave it back to us that there had been a few uses, and then we had to go through the QA retrospectively, which is just a little bit more complicated. So just any agency involved, if you use the iGel, awesome. We want you to use the iGel, but please make sure to let us know as the airway committee or John Dazzo with the QA/QI committee, and then we'll make sure that we'll get it on our side. iGel successful so far. The state's having a lot of good success with it. Their biggest concern was that they weren't getting all of the data. So again, we just want to make sure we're coordinating with them. For our agencies, they were missing a few data points. We put them together. We got that all fixed. They're very happy. Scott could attest that we talked to them a lot, and we work very well with the folks up in Hudson Valley. So that's great. For RSI, there are two agencies. I think everyone knew that, Glen Cove and New Hyde Park. We added another RSI medic at our last meeting. There's a handful more in the pipe for both agencies. Both medics currently are due with New Hyde Park, but Glen Cove has a couple that we're going to look at for our June meeting. And we're not doing direct reciprocity, but we are using it for, I don't want to say advanced standing, that's not the right word, but if they take, we have a lot of FPY rescue medics right now that are interested, so we're recognizing that they have a lot of training, but we're still reviewing it at our level, so we're making sure that all of the reviews are happening at the county level and that we're not just automatically approving anybody. We work very hard to get a robust group and a robust system. We just want to make sure it matches what we're doing at the county level and that we have the same standard for everybody. But if they were trained in Suffolk County or they were trained in New York City and it matches the requirements that we're looking for, that obviously it, is something that we're taking into play when we're looking to approve these folks. So just to know that other agencies are interested in joining, that we're working on getting our own class here. I was just talking to Don and to Ed about it, and we've been working on it. So we're going to have a difficult airway class coming up soon in Nassau County as well. Right now, they're only in Suffolk and the city, but we'll have ours soon. So we're moving forward slowly, but making progress and doing really good. So that's all working out very nicely. And then there's going to be an airway part on eBridge, but Dave, I'll leave that to you because that's your next report. So I'll just bounce that to you to talk about during your report because you're the eBridge guy. But we coordinated with them to make sure that all airways are going to be verified in the county like we used to, and Dave will explain that during his report.
All right, so I appreciate once again all your hard work and stuff with that. Just expound upon that, as most of you will know. We've expanded dramatically the QA/QI committee to encompass multiple physicians on the council, as well as some very seasoned paramedics, once again, to sit down. We have an effective committee looking over the documentation. The whole goal, I should say, of eBridge, as well as the image trend elite, allows us the data that we were never able to see before. As Dave just mentioned, there are things that slip through the cracks that go to the state that the council never sees until it gets sent back or until there's inquiries that occur with that. As Dr. Kugler is going to bring up in a minute with the eBridge communications, this is all used once again for system-wide quality assurance, quality improvement with them. So the information that's put in there that's requested by the hospitals, by the system, once again, by the doctors, and once again, what the QA/QI committee, including the airway committee, will be looking at is going to be enhanced quite a bit from what we've done in the past. So I'll leave that to eBridge, to Dr. Kugler on the updates regarding that.
Just a few updates on eBridge. If you haven't had an opportunity to refresh the apps on your phones, on your portable devices, and in the hospitals, the computers need to be rebooted because there's been a refresh. We finally, Nassau County Medical Center's requests to have the BLS, ALS notification separated so that a different tone could be made for a low priority was finally completed. That change was made. So when the providers look at the eBridge selection list, they're going to see a green BLS ALS notification and a red BLS ALS notification. The green BLS ALS notification will be a low priority or medium priority notification, and that may or may not, according to regional policy, be acknowledged by the ED. It also allows for the emergency department to set a separate alert tone for that particular notification that's not as obnoxious as the critical alert tones for the stroke, STEMI trauma that we have already in place. So it doesn't, just for, as a reminder, it doesn't obviate the need for or doesn't eliminate the requirement for the ED to review that information. They're beholden to that information. And you did your due diligence as an EMS provider by providing that information as a pre-notification. It's just that the ED may have 5 or 6 or 10 of these, and they may be more focused on taking care of the critically ill patients. So don't be upset if your low priority BLS notification doesn't get acknowledged, because they don't have to. But what's good about the eBridge notification is that, unlike a phone call, it'll still be there so they can go back to it and look at it later. The phone call, once it's done, is done. So that's the first substantive change. The second substantive change is that all STEMI notifications will require transmission of an EKG on eBridge, whether you take a snapshot of the monitor or you're able to upload the PDF copy of your 12 lead. That's critical to initiation of getting the cath lab open and running. I can tell you firsthand experience. We got a STEMI notification and I had the provider text me the EKG. I was able to activate the cath lab based on that image, which I sent to the interventional cardiologist. So that saves minutes, and then minutes is myocardium. So we want to do the best things for our patients, and this is part of that. I would ask, as a reminder, to please ask your providers and for yourselves to send the eBridge notification before you go en route to the hospital. What you don't see on eBridge and what you may not get on your radio or your CAD is all the other ambulances that may be going to that facility. So if you make your eBridge notification, it also allows medical control an opportunity to intervene and send a message back to you saying that hospital just got 6 ambulances, they have a cardiac arrest going, they have, they have a critical infrastructure issue. If you send it when you're backing in and we get the alert tone for the call and then we get the EMS unit arrived, it's the same thing as picking up the phone and calling us as you're backing in. It does nothing for an alert, does nothing to help us prepare for you, and doesn't give medical control the opportunity to tell you, hey, maybe you might want to consider diverting someplace else, which would be in the patient's best interest. Or yours, if you don't want to end up waiting against the wall. One of the biggest substantive changes is doing something that we used to do a very long time ago, for those of you that are seasoned providers in the system. When we used to have to go get the meatball in Frank's office from the mannequin, doing the airway every year to qualify. And that was also came with the paperwork that said every time you intubated, you had to get the doctor to sign a form. The airway committee created an RSI form that we now put on eBridge. That form is expected to be done electronically for any advanced airway completed in the region by a pre-hospital provider, whether it's BLS iGel, an endotracheal tube, or if it's RSI patient. That form is to be completed after patient care. I don't expect you to fill it out while you're en route to the hospital managing a critical airway, defibrillating and doing CPR, pushing medications, making notifications. Once the patient's in the hands of the medical team in the emergency department, that's when you fill out that form, because a doctor in the ER has to sign it. That's part of the quality initiative that we have here for any advanced airway. So please make sure that those get filled out. It's your obligation as an advanced provider or basic life support provider using the BLS iGel program to complete this form. It's an essential element of regional quality. Failing to participate on this project may eliminate your agency from being able to participate in any of the advanced airway initiatives that we have. I think those are the substantive changes to BLS, to the eBridge. Please refer to the Nassau County EMS website, because on there is a video on the changes that was put out by eBridge for us. So if you need to know what did we do, just go look. It's a YouTube video. You could watch it. It takes 5 minutes, and it tells you everything that we did. It'll walk you through it. Does anybody have any questions about eBridge and the changes? Yeah.
No question, but is there, well, I guess, question, is there a way to extract the data from the EKG to provide what time facility? So that we can get a better understanding of what the times are. To your earlier point, you know, if you're backing in a percent.
So if there's a picture on the EKG, you know, if it's timestamped, that you could use. Otherwise, eBridge isn't, you know, meant to be a patient care, you know, documentation. It's meant to be a notification tool. But it does timestamp every notification. So if you go to the Describe X server, you'll see when the notification was sent to you and it timestamps it. So the answer is yes and no.
Most of the 12 leads have a timestamp on the top of it.
If the provider prints the 12 lead, it does timestamp it, so long as the clock on the monitor is set properly.
It always is.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
And
other
how's
thing I-
that for a non-answer for your non-question?
The other thing I'd just like to mention on top of what Dr. Kula says, from a quality assurance and a system-wide perspective is not only for us as a region, but also the hospitals have requested this because they need it for their accreditations, whether it be strokes, STEMIs,
Okay.
or the American College of Surgeons. A lot of this information and stuff that we provide on these forms is utilized once again for their accreditations through their hospital requirements for that. So one of the reasons why they've asked us to once again enhance some of the different tabs on the eBridge and to make sure that they're capturing this information, especially getting those EPCRs in effectively to these hospitals, because we get constantly during the week looking for different trauma, stroke, STEMI, acute case EPCRs that have not surfaced in 4, 5, 6 days with that. And then we have to search to find these. It's very important for the hospital administrations to have that information. All right.
Can I just ask one question?
Sure.
Where will that enhanced documentation form be started? Where you're gonna need the EP position signature?
Today,
Oh, perfect.
May 1st.
Okay.
And it's on eBridge. So I have another question. So the agency, the provider who brings in the patient is gonna start the form and
Yes.
tag it to a specific attending?
Yes.
On
the-
eBridge.
No, basically they'll bring their tablet or their PC into the ER.
Right,
And the doctor that verified the placement of the advanced airway will put their name at the bottom of the form.
okay, so is
No,
there a
it's just like
PCR form?
the
It's
name
got
of the
nothing to
doctor.
do with the
It's-
eBridge?
It's got nothing to do with eBridge other than we demanded to the eBridge people to make a form for us and they complied.
Wait, so there's two forms now?
No,
No,
the provider makes a pre-hospital notification.
right,
That's one. If they put an advanced airway in, when they're in the ER, they fill out a second form that the doctor just has to put their name and license number on.
The
In
form is on their
eBridge.
tab.
Verification.
oh, on the tablet,
Right, it's on the tablet. It was gonna be a piece of paper, but to make sure that we collected all the paper, to keep
Right.
from having it faxed and added onto your PCR that will never get uploaded.
right,
We wanna just have this because
Okay.
we're developing the RSI program. We want it to be robust and have excellent quality from the beginning, not play catch up.
so the form will be uploaded automatically onto
Right,
eBridge,
as soon as
is
you
what
hit
you're saying,
enter,
okay,
the form goes to the Describe X server for the region. It's not a hospital medical record. It is a quality form only to just track, you know, how many times you put the tube in. It's basically that the piece of paper that we had that we approved for the RSI policy is now the advanced airway policy.
okay.
Yeah, just everyone from the airway committee, we decided that if we were gonna be reviewing all of the IGEL and all of the RSIs, that it just made sense. We now have a committee of people that we should look at all airways, since that used to be the standard and we came away from that because it was difficult to track all of that. But so the idea of having it in eBridge, and everyone now has eBridge, so it's a one location where everyone would have access to, where you could easily get access to the form. And it's just a button now on eBridge, but like, they said, it's not during the call, it's after the call. You just go into eBridge, you click that little button, you fill out the information, it's the same form that we used to use, and then at the bottom, it just asks for the provider that verified it and their license number.
The physician,
There's no actual signature.
not the provider, the physician,
A physician, yeah.
right? It can't be a respiratory therapist or a nurse. It has to be
Can be
a
a resident?
physician with a medical
Be a
license.
resident?
It has, if they have a medical license.
They have to have a license.
Correct, yes, yeah,
And
you
yes.
verify anything I did make that.
They do, because they're
Some
fourth
do.
year, so after third year, they can have a
So
some
if
of
they
them
have a,
fourth.
if they have a medical license, but
Some
they have
do.
to be able to be reached for quality purposes, so, but
Some
they have
do.
to be able to be reached for quality purposes, so,
That's.
no.
They know where they're gonna be for a few years.
Well, no, if they're fourth years, they may.
The
they
fourth
may-
year, they might
may
be, right.
Yeah, it's in June,
They always come back.
yeah, no, maybe.
Yeah, so that's an app, like you said, that's after the call, after the fact,
That's
after
a
the
case of
call, you just
everything.
click that button, fill it out, make sure that form gets sent, and then we're just, and then it's only coming to us as a regional QAQI. So it's the airway committee, we review all of those, and then if there's any issues, we'll reach out to the individual agency and the agency medical director. So that's, it's just coordinating everything for us.
Any other questions?
So,
Email will be going out to agencies specifically about this, not buried in.
it just went out,
Check your email.
check,
Okay.
refresh your email. This was reported out at multiple meetings and then going live on May 1st. And an email just literally went out saying it's live, refresh your apps. Because this is what we're using.
Yeah, training's been in the coordinator's report, I believe, for the
Correct.
last 2 weeks.
It's been also reported out at multiple meetings
Yes.
at REMSCO arenas.
A lot of the agencies, have brought to my attention, the weekly reports, like somebody had just mentioned, that the coordinator's report is buried way down far below everything else that the assistant fire marshal sends out too. So the coordinator was able to send it out to all the agencies. I don't know if you're doing that as well, Don.
So it's an attachment to that general email. It's not
Right.
buried.
Well, yeah, but it, when.
So, yeah,
some
I
providers
know what,
Look at it, they say, this email doesn't have anything to do with me, and that's why I'm just bringing it up, if we were able to.
so we've tried a number of things in response to all of this. So the feedback the last time we did that universally was, I get way too many emails and I miss them anyway. Why don't you just send me one a week? So like anything else,
Right, but I'm saying something like this.
we're never gonna make everyone happy.
Yeah.
Everyone by now should know, and if they don't, it's a nice topic for EMS week maybe, is that every week, the EMS coordinators comes out, complimentary to the fire line, and it's also posted on the Nassau EMS website. So ideally, for all the reasons we've talked about, right, chain of command and having a single person to go to with EMS questions rather than social media. The EMS managers receive that along with the medical directors and should be pushing that out to every one of their providers to foster this entire system that we're trying to reinvent. If that's not occurring, hint, hint, they're also, well, let us know and we can talk to that person to see why. And you can then go to the website where it's posted for the world to see. So again, I get it. I try not to send out the, oh, and another thing, email after email after email. There's no magic bullet for that. So, but yeah, if you check the coordinator's report or you want it separately, let me know and I will fill your inbox with separate emails.
Wasn't me.
No, you're the top of the list. So thank you, Frank, for the suggestion.
Any other questions and stuff for E-Bridge communications or the website? As I said, it's on the website each and every week. So if you don't get it, you don't see it, once again, you can find it. All the information is there. It's one-stop shopping. We'll move on. Just at the REMSCO REMAC EMS tag, Dr. Newbert.
Nothing new on that, but now the county reports out.
County report is out. Once again, if you want to review it and stuff, come up with any, and I'll let you know as soon as they set a meeting and stuff for the committee to review that. We're hopeful that some of the recommendations can be achieved in a relatively short period of time. We understand that, county administration takes time. All right. Any other committees that I may have omitted? All right, move on to, anybody have any unfinished business? Okay. All right, so we'll move on to new business. Once again, approval of the county, of the council treasurer's report, earlier reported. Motion.
Excellent.
Second. On the question, all in favor? Any opposed? Abstentions? No, so ordered. All right, as I said earlier, Town of Oyster Bay has completed the packet. The only thing that they need, once again, is the supervisor's signature after he, meets with the town board on that. They have been, busy for a while. Once again, I'm looking, for approval, provisionally, once again, so that we can continue to keep this moving, up to the state and once again, get them, fulfilled, before, the summer with that. So I will take a roll call vote on this. Once again, is there anybody that has any questions on that?
So just on the question, to reiterate, came up at the executive, so I assume people also have the same question. The BLS first response agency code and process is not the same as a CON or a certificate of need, public hearing and all of that. It exists outside of Article 30, those regulations that control regular operating certificates, if you will, and certificates of need. The BLSFR, for a number of things, not only legitimizes the agency and the EMTs that work within it, it gives them access to the CME recertification program, and then probably equally as important, the New York State EMS funding, complementary to EMS original classes, as well as refresher and CME renewal classes. So again, they've been working on this for years for a number of reasons. It was delayed and we've gotten this close this far. So I would recommend, I'm going to vote in the affirmative for it. So thank you.
Okay, so once again, we have a motion on the floor to accept this, to continue moving it forward. Second,
Second.
any other questions? All right, we'll do a roll call vote.
All right, Frank Geppert,
Yes.
Scott Kettergrad,
Yes.
James Arjemian, or Joseph Baskin. Charles Mackey,
Yes.
Frank DeVogus,
Yes.
Kevin Mackey,
Yes.
Robin Trot,
Yes.
Christopher Dimitropoulos,
Yes.
Thomas Durfee,
Yes.
Keith Wilkins,
Yes.
Thomas Devaney, I vote yes. Don Hudson,
Yes.
Edward Waldron,
Yes.
Frank Chester.
Yes.
Is that? No, not yet.
Joseph Poletta, Karen Brom.
Yes.
Nancy Fisher,
Yes.
Robert Finio,
Yes.
Dr. Darius,
Yes.
Gary Frucci here. Dr. Pearson,
Yes.
Stephen Monte, Tara Brown. David Reed,
Yes.
Dana Cordopasso,
Yes.
Dave Caldor,
Yes.
Kevin O'Hara.
Yes.
And there's no Lena Nix or George.
Motion.
Yes, she's back there.
Oh,
Okay, so motion passes on that.
So again, just to get it on record, the chairman will sign the cover letter. We'll sit on that packet until it's complete, ready, done, as we just all agreed to. And then off our plate and off to legitimacy. Thank you.
Robin, you had a motion for.
Yeah. I bring a motion to the floor for the appointment of Neil Glasgow to fill the fire council seat vacated by Mark Baca with a seat expiration of 12/21/20.
Okay, so we have a motion once again to accept Neil Velasco to fill the seat for fire communications. And we have a motion on the floor.
Second.
Second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so ordered. I'll take a motion also, on council vote to enact the updated, Nassau REMSCO policy manual. Again, that
Motion made.
Motion. Second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Abstention. Okay, so ordered. Last, for me, once again, discussion, as you said, with everything going on, with, the event coming up here in June, with last minute, canceling or postponement, I should say, of the EMS Memorial Upstate, which was seated right in the middle of, EMS week. Any preference on, ceremony, for our EMS, week? We generally would have it, the last couple of years during EMS week. I don't think it probably would be appropriate in the summer time in order to make sure we have, adequate, representation and stuff. Does anybody have, date in mind, probably the fall, to, hold the ceremony and to establish a committee and funding for that? Any recommendations? I'll open it up to the floor.
I'll jump in. So those that remember, we used to do a dinner at a catering hall. There was some questions raised and then a prohibition from the state about using the grant funding to do that. The council's sitting on $100,000, and I don't know what it's there for, if not for our providers. I would like to do a dinner where people can invite their family to come see the fruits of their labor and why they leave in the middle of the night. If nothing else for the families, that's just my opinion. I know some people may be the opinion that I need another volley prom like a hole in the head, but you do get the joke, thank you. So, I wouldn't be opposed to a dinner, and I think we certainly have the money for it.
That's a good idea. Excellent idea.
And by that, it doesn't mean I'm the chairman of the dinner committee. Thank you, Frank. All right, I know how this game is played. Nice try.
I'll take care of it.
What?
I have plenty of time.
I second the motion.
Yeah. Sorry.
I-
Were you gonna be chairman?
I'll take care of it when I work at Plainview. I don't care.
Well, do we want to set a financial cap or sometime? I mean, I don't want to blow the
that's the
whole
thing.
hundred.
What I think we need to do is let Dave do his due diligence and find out what it's gonna cost us. And then come back to us.
Come back to the next meeting.
Or to the executive committee and saying this is what it's gonna cost. Do we wanna have a special meeting to discuss any monies and do it that way? Because if we put a cap on it now, he might have to come back to us and say, no, we have to do this.
Well, I agree, and like I say, I will co-chair with him, I will assist him with anything regarding that, as you said. The last couple of years, once again, especially without a program agency for better part of 2 years and stuff, and because of questions regarding financial, that's why we kind of pulled it away from a dinner. But I agree, once again, that we should be spending some of that money and stuff towards, towards honoring all of those people that are being awarded for that.
And retaining them.
And retaining them, trying to retain them as best we possibly can. So we'll bring back, maybe we can get some prices and stuff by the June meeting. As you know, we don't have a meeting until September with that. See if we can find some open dates with that. The only thing I will bring up is that once the committee is done selecting, I will start working on the awards as we have done in the past. So that I will contact the executive board and we will work out the plaques and other things for that. And this way it'll all be done, or just be the dinner with them. So we have a motion to once again look into it and bring it back to the June 26th meeting. And we'll have some more information and stuff on that. In the meantime, we will work on with the awards committee, public education, and get that portion of the awards taken care of with that. So we have a motion seconded on the question. All right, all in favor? Does anybody else have anything else under new business? Was there anything else that you guys needed to bring up in the new business?
I'm just looking, is that a hint or?
Previous meetings.
Oh, the previous minutes. Let's get a motion to approve the previous minutes from the March meeting. We do have a quorum and stuff into it. Motion, second. All right, all in favor? All right. With that, once again, I'd like to once again welcome Neil Velasco here once again, Fire Communications. Welcome. Feel free. Any committees and stuff that you might want to, get involved in, please let us know. There's quite a bit of work that's going on, committees all over, and a lot of work to be done as we continue to move forward. Anything under the good of the council?
Ernie's hand is starting to work again now.
All right. The next scheduled REMSCO meeting will be held Wednesday, June 26, 2024, here at the Public Safety Center. Executive Council meeting will be held 1 hour prior at 1 o'clock. And the next REMAC meeting is scheduled for June 5th, 2024 at 2:15 here at the Public Safety Center as well. And so I'll ask for a adjournment.
Can I just say one thing?
Yep, hold on, please.
I just, I know every hospital's doing something special for you this week, there's something that I typically do every year. You guys come down to St. Joe, you know that I spend a lot of time on my EMS barbecue, but I'll put the invite out here. It's May 20th, I make my ribs and we do a contest usually, so you guys are around, you come, I cooked a hell of a storm out there, but it's May 20th, it's a Monday, you come down to St. Joe's, I'm out there, I'm cooking.
Is that a rib eating contest?
I would say also, thank you very much to Mark Vitale. Northwell is holding their EMS Woods dinner coming up in a couple of weeks, and the invitation sent out to the council members and stuff, the executive board. With that, thank you very much for remembering us as well. All right, so let's get a motion to adjourn. Thank you very much for coming.